Okay, 9.4 circumference. So let's first review our formulas that we have. We have area is pi r squared, and then we have our circumference is 2 pi r, or, oops, or we could say, well, circumference is pi diameter, right? Because 2r is our diameter. Now, just like in 9.3, we're just going to be using these formulas and finding our circumference this time. So starting off, number one, our radius is 9. So our circumference is 2 pi r, so 2 pi 9, which is 18 pi. Our units are going to be feet, right? Circumference is a measure of length. Circumference is a circle's form of perimeter, right? Normally we can say, well, perimeter is the distance around the shape, right? We add up the side lengths of all the different shapes or all the different edges. Circumference is the perimeter of a circle, right? So it is a distance. Number two, our diameter is 16, so our circumference is pi diameter, or pi 16. We normally write the pi last, so I'm going to say 16 pi and miles. All right, number three, this one doesn't give us a picture, it just tells us the radius is 7. So we're going to use the same formula as above, so 2 pi r, so 2 pi 7, 14 pi, and our units are miles. Number four, this one again, our radius is 8, so I'm going to say, well, circumference is 2 pi r, so 2 pi 8, 16 pi meters. All right. Just for a second, I want to go back up to number 2 and talk about it just a little bit more. Say you don't remember the circumference formula right here, pi diameter. That's okay. You could say, well, my diameter is 16, so my radius is 8. And then you could have gone about it and said, well, circumference is 2 pi r, 2 pi 8, 16 pi. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I showed you that. You can always, normally what I do is I always turn them back into the radius. That's what I would do if I was working on my own. Um, but you're able to use the diameter, you're able to use the radius, it doesn't really matter. So just wanted to make sure we saw that. All right, next page, number 5. Diameter is 18. So just like how I said in the last one, we could have gone the radius route or the diameter route. The radius is 9. So we'd say, well, the circumference is 2 pi r, 2 pi 9, 18 pi. Or you could go the diameter route. You'd say, well, circumference is pi diameter, pi 18, 18 pi. Right? With a lot of these numbers, there's not a whole lot of difference. I think this one, it might be slightly easier just to go the right route. I don't know, whichever one you want to do, whichever one you're more comfortable with. But you don't have to write both of these down. I'm just showing you 2 different ways that you could go about this problem. And the answer would be 18 pi centimeters, because we need to use our units. All right, number 6. I'm not going to do it 2 ways. I'm just going to do it 1 way. I'm going to say, well, circumference is pi diameter. So pi 16, 16 pi, and my units are meters. Number 7. This one gives us the area, and we have to find our circumference. So for starters, I need to say, well, area is pi r squared, and normally I use a little a there. Do I? No, I think it is a big A. So 100 pi is pi r squared. I can divide out my pi's, and I say, well, 100 is r squared. I take my square root and I say, well, let me write that in. Square root, that's 10 is r. Remember, normally we have to say plus or minus there. Normally we'd say, well, plus or minus 10. But because we're talking about shapes, we don't really care about the negative version because a negative side doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So now it's like we have two problems in one. We could say, well, that's our answer, quote unquote. And now we go about it like number 3 or 4, where we're given the radius. So here, our radius is 10, so our circumference is 2 pi r, 2 pi 10, 20 pi. And my units are centimeters. All right, number 8, same way we work it. We say, well, 81 pi is pi r squared. So 81 is r squared. And this right here, that is the area formula. I didn't write that in there. So there's our area formula. We divided out our pi's. Now 81 is r squared, so 9 is r. The circumference is 2 pi r, 2 pi 9, 18 pi, and our units are centimeters. There we are. I know I went through the video kind of quickly, but I think these problems should be relatively easy for you. All right, that's all.